Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's episode of unboxing, we are going to be looking at the NG Models JetBlue A321Neo in the Blue Bubbles livery. Now, I managed to pick this model up from RM Models. I really appreciate their services, so I'll leave a link in the description below where you can also look at their website. Now, we're going to be going through some of the sections of this model, and I'm going to give my personal opinion based on what I think is the best about this model, and you can also get a good look because I'll be adding some close-ups into the video as well. Without any further ado, let's just get straight into the review. When it comes to making boxes, NG always masters the design and livery adapted into the box, and making each model have its unique and own design. I think this box in particular is really aesthetically pleasing and really caters to the livery that the JetBlue A321Neo is carrying. I also think the clip art on the box is nicely sized, and it gives you a good picture of what the model is on the inside. Now, moving on to the mold, it's fair to say the first thing that you get drawn to is the nose of a model. Now, I think NG Models have done a really good job in illustrating the A321 nose. The shape is right, the cockpit decal is all good, and everything else along the fuselage is very nice. The engines are also something that a lot of manufacturers tend to struggle with, but I think the NG Models have done an exceptional job in scaling them down correctly. I also think the rest of the fuselage is just well represented, and I also like the detailing of the Wi-Fi dome. So starting off with the nose here, you can see that NG Models have added a sufficient amount of detail on the door area and also the titles of the aircraft. You can see the cargo door area as well, and the beautiful crisp JetBlue titles. You can even see on the emergency escape exits on the wing, it's a really nice detailing as well. The decals are very crisp. Moving on to some of the wing detail, the winglets are really nice and crisp. Again, the paint lines, there's no blotches or anything like that, and everything is beautifully applied. Then moving on to the tail, you can see here, the only thing I have a problem with is the little JetBlue title, and that it's a little bit wonky. But other than that, everything is beautifully printed. Now moving on to the engine, you can see that the cowling on the front of the engine is very nicely printed. Also the JetBlue titles, they're a little bit blurry, but that's not too big of a problem because of how small this model is. You can even see the crispness of the exhaust on the back of the engine. Everything looks really crisp, and it even looks like it's even a little bit weathered. Then looking onto the inside of the engine, you can see the fan blades, which are really nicely molded. Also the color is very nicely toned down, so it doesn't look like there's a light coming out of the engine like some of the Gemini Jets models have. The only issue I have with this is that there isn't a greenish turquoise color ring on the inside like on the real thing, but that's a really picky detail. The mounting area is also very nicely printed, and overall I think the engine is a really nice area of this model. Now moving on to the landing gear, we can see that the nose gear is really nicely made. You can see even the detail on the doors as well, the 2016. The ties themselves are really nicely put on, and there is no like residue like on some other models, and everything rolls really nicely as well. Much of the same can be said for the main landing gear as well. All the gear rolls nicely, the ties are very nicely attached, no residue. And everything is colored perfectly, and the model also sits really nicely at a really good angle on the ground. When it comes to my overall thoughts about this model, I would highly recommend getting this if you have the chance to. Comparing it to the Gemini Jets one, I'll do a later video on that, but it's fair to say that this one is way better than the Gemini Jets one. If you can still get your hands on it, I'm pretty sure they're all sold out everywhere, but this is an absolutely amazing model. well worth the extra bit of money. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you found it any helpful. So yeah, it's been Aviation JFK signing off.